Superman issue 8 heads to Sector 2815, where Jor-El talks with his grandson about why he came with him. John isn't sure and gives a few joke answers, but Jor wants to know what drove him to come out into space. John says that he doesn't know how anything works and wants to know his place in the universe and become the person who can live up to his father's great legacy. Jor-El says that both of them shouldn't really exist thanks to the natural order of the universe, yet they both do, and because of it, Jor-El thinks the science that he's devoted his entire life to is madness. The Kryptonian goes off on a tangent, wondering if anything in the universe even matters anymore before apologizing to John, saying while both of them are looking for answers, they might not find them. John realizes now that he needs to leave the ship and go home, but he finds the universe a lot bigger than he originally thought. In the present, John has scans run on him in the Fortress of Solitude as his mother frets about having sent their son with Jor-El. John knew his parents would freak out and reassures them that he made it home, and he did so because of how they raised him. Clark says that he needs a moment, and leaving the fortress, he races around the world, his anger building as he's realized his own father took the ability to watch his son grow from him. He tries to catch himself and stop the anger, but soon he finds Mongol has arrived at his old Fortress of Solitude looking for revenge, so he decides to take his anger out on the villain. Later, as Clark returns to the fortress, Kelex's scans of John finish up, revealing that he is indeed their son, and he is free from any space cancers or diseases he might have picked up in his travels. Clark wants to give his data to some Hall of Justice members for a second opinion, just in case Jor-El has gotten into their Kryptonian tech in the fortress, but gets to the real question at hand: what is Jor-El up to? John says that it was easy to find distractions in the universe and they were always on missions somewhere. During these missions, Jor would try and negotiate with the threat much like how Clark does, but it never worked out, always ending in violence and carnage. After a mission fighting some Thanagarians, John meets with the Green Lanterns Kilowog and Arisia, who thank him for his help. John asks if he can get a lift back to Earth with them, and as they ask if he's in trouble, Jor-El arrives. Leaving the two men to talk, the Lanterns take their leave, and Jor-El apologizes to John, telling him that he will take him home. John, however, says that it's okay and he will stay. Over the next year or so, Jor-El didn't talk with John, allowing the boy to continue his studies and watch Earth news waves that their ship picked up every now and then. Jor soon approaches John, telling him he is sorry, but as John says that he is sorry, their ship is alerted to a black hole, which has grabbed the ship in its gravity well. As Jor tries to pull them free, the ship falls into it and John is knocked out. Awakening sometime later, John doesn't know where he is, but soon he finds out as he is confronted by Ultraman and the crime syndicate of Earth 3. Superman issue 8 was a very strange issue. The dialogue was all over the place. One minute it's perfectly fine, makes sense dialogue, then Bendis tries to do, and he's done this in the past couple of issues, where he tries to make the conversations quote unquote casual, and they just come off sounding like weird other dimensional beings, you know, that have glanced at human interaction once and then think that's what it is. Bendis also doesn't seem to know how scientists work, seeing as Jor-El becomes disillusioned the minute something that doesn't make sense to him presents itself. This is obviously coming from the being who can fly and shoot lasers from his eye, and you know, both of him and John don't make sense to him. He's a scientist. He's meant to study these sorts of things, not just become disillusioned because something doesn't make sense. That itself does not make sense. It's even more so strange that he would include Earth 3's crime syndicate, seeing as all of them died during Forever Evil. The big one obviously being Owlman, who was actually killed by Dr. Manhattan. So I guess Bendis either just doesn't care, or like that's not a thing anymore because Doomsday Clock and Heroes of Crisis and all that sort of stuff has changed thanks to the creative people behind DC changing hands so many times. Of course, going through a black hole does present the options of time travel, and they could have traveled back in time before the events of Forever Evil and met the crime syndicate then, which offers some pretty exciting aspects. That would be really cool if we got to see some time travel sort of stuff happen. The thing I didn't really like about this issue is that Bendis really needs to just properly learn how to write dialogue between characters that doesn't sound like it was written by someone who was once kicked in the head by a horse. I'm going to give this issue a 5 out of 10. Hey everyone, thanks for watching my newest video. If you enjoyed it, you might also like to check out my other reviews here on my channel. You can also follow me on various social media platforms like Twitter by searching Matt_FOS, or even join the Comic Multiverse Discord server and chat with other comic book fans, including myself and Joel from Cape Joel. Want cheap comics and trades? Head over to the book depository with the link in the description to get the cheapest trades and comics around, along with free shipping anywhere in the world. Until next time, this has been Matt of the Fortress of Solitude. Thank you so much for watching.